Now it's down to Fort Lauderdale, Florida to check out Dana Dench, our next contestant in the rookie class, competing for a $10,000 first prize and a WildTech scholarship.
My name is Dana Dench, and I'm from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. As a bartender, you make really good money in a short amount of time. With this competition, it really does help me out, so I don't have to work every day, and I can work 2 nights a week.
Birthday, I got my bike yesterday, so I figured I'd do a birthday burnout.
I've always been a tomboy, and if the boys do it, I never saw a reason why I couldn't do it. The minute I found out I got the show, you know, I got resentment from my ex-boyfriend that owned a shop, and I don't think he liked too much that I was in the limelight and he wasn't. We broke up like a week after I got the bike. So many things I had to deal with let alone, first of all, just not even having a shop off the bat.
Relocate the bike, take it to another shop, so we're going to take it over there today and probably break it down.
Took me like a month to get to a different location, and the gentleman it was really nice. He helped me break down the bike at the second shop I was at, but he wasn't really familiar with building choppers, and it wasn't a fabrication type place. So I went to, I'm presently at Taco Sakasso Cycles shop, and he opened his doors to me, and I'm there, I'm doing all the fabrication there. This is the very first bike I've ever attempted to build. I mean, I had to learn tools, how to use them, what they were called, I mean, and all that, learned everything, what makes it run and what I can and can't do. And because we're putting on a larger tire, we had to convert it to chain. If you left it like normal, it would spin the bike in reverse, so my bike would just go really fast backwards. So we can't have that. To solve a big problem with an easy, simple, kind of like caveman way, we're putting the engine in backwards, because otherwise we would need a conversion box. Everyone expected me to do a very simple, just modify a couple things here or there and have a neat paint job and that's it. But that's not me. Yeah, it's a big bike, but I didn't want to build a little chopper. I didn't want to build a little curly chopper, so I really don't have that much help, and it is my first bike, and it is a very elaborate project. I mean, it's not a simple bike that I'm doing. It's a complete ground-up custom. But I think at the end, once it's finally together, it'll be worth it. To prove that girls can actually do it in a male-dominated field. I will not give up. I will not quit. I don't care if it's to the last day. I'll be tightening the last bolt just to surprise them all and kind of shove it back in their faces. I have 4 days to finish fabrication. I don't care, I'll be here till midnight, I'll be here all hours of the night, whatever it takes.
The Metric Revolution is brought to you by Triumph and Two Wheel Tuner Magazine. We're back, and the builders are arriving here in Las Vegas, where it's time to see how their bikes stand up to the competition.
I'm really excited to be here. This is showtime, man. There's no better place than Vegas to exhibit our bikes.
Before it was I can't sleep because I'm so stressed worrying about the bike, but now I can't sleep because I'm so happy and relieved and pumped that I'm actually here and I made it.
This build was the hardest build I've ever tried to do. It feels good to have it done.
I'm really proud of the bike I built. I'm really happy to exhibit the bike. You need to really get in there and see what I did.
I think we're going to get pretty surprised, and I think a lot of people they're all into this, and they're going to come out with some pretty incredible bikes.
Now it's time for the builders to officially unveil their bikes to the competition at the Hooters Casino Hotel.
My name is Dana Dench. I'm from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. This is not only my first bike I've ever built, but first time I've welded, first time I've ever fabricated, first time I've ever done body work. So what does a blonde that's ever built a bike before do? She puts the engine in backwards. I cut up the frame. I took pieces from RWD, their tank they sent me, and I added sheet metal, stretched it down. Because it's so long, we had to do a jump shaft, and because, you know, making the shaft out here, you know, it made it kind of impossible to reach. The swing arm is from Brighton, and as far as the body goes, I had a week and a half to do the body and paint. And, you know, I always tell people, I'm like, it's amazing what you can do when you want something so bad. But this is it. Let me say, I was nervous just pulling my bike out for all the guys to see it.
I was actually expecting a bit of a girly kind of bike, but her bike couldn't be any more macho.
She turned her engine around backwards. I had no idea anybody was as crazy as I was, and apparently she is.
And it's a bike I'm proud of to say that I built myself.
Next week on the Metric Revolution Motorcycle Build-Off, see Dennis, Mike, and Dana each face the judges on Fremont Street.
I hope the judges recognize the fact that you can take my bike every day, and if I need to road race it or drag race it, it's ready to go.
The scores here will either carry them to the finals or send them riding home.
There's a lot of really good bikes. I think it's going to be real tight.
Only 3 builders from each class can move on to the finals. Do their bikes have what it takes to put them in the top 3? Tune in next week to see more of the builders that they're up against. Sam Nemi from the cruiser class, sport bike builder Dean Kozak, and our next builder in the rookie class, Carl Stevens. Don't miss a moment as the most talented builders in the country face off and build the most radical motorcycles on the planet. Only 5 more weeks remain until the eliminations. Who will make it to the top 3 in each class? Who will be riding home? The Metric Revolution has begun.
Don't forget to log on to metrictv.com for more info on all the bikes and builders in the competition.
Last week on the Metric Revolution Motorcycle Build-Off.
I think everyone expected me to do a very simple, just modify a couple things here or there and have a neat paint job and that's it. But that's not me.
You know, there's times when I go around the clock. I'm in a situation where there's not too much of a choice, but I need to put the time in to make things better financially for my family so we can have a better life. I want to show the world that, you know what, D-Man has something to offer. I'm ready for it, man. I hope Vegas is ready for me, man, because I'm ready to get it on.
I worked on it with my dad and a lot by myself for the majority of the middle of the build. And then when it came down to crunch time, it wasn't going to make it unless I got my, my friends and my workers to help.
I will not give up. I will not quit. I don't care if it's to the last day. I'll be painting the last bolt just to surprise them all and kind of shove it back in their faces.
Now is the moment of truth as the builders face the judges on Fremont Street. The scores tallied here will be the major determining factor on whether or not they make it to the finals.
Hi, Dana. I'm Nancy G. Nice to meet you.
It was a little nerve-wracking to have judges come over and look at my bike. Their judgment is going to be legitimate. Pretty much this is my first bike I've ever built. They gave me the Suzuki Boulevard C90 for me to customize. The only thing I really kept from the bike is the engine, the original fuel cell that I mounted up on the top. So I kind of built the sheet metal and the work around the frame, the big arch and all that kind of stuff. 330 rear, I put the engine in backwards because it's, as you know, it's shaft driven and I got to convert it to chain. And at the time, with time and money, I couldn't get a transfer box. Paint body took a week and a half. I only had to do it when so many people told me I couldn't do it or we couldn't get it done, and we did it. I purposely wanted the exhaust on this side to just kind of emphasize the engine being in backwards. So like the name of the bike, we named it appropriately, ass backwards. Air suspension in the back brings up the rear tire, tightens up the chain in the rear. You know, it's touch and go. A lot of it, I didn't think it was going to be here, so it's just a miracle alone that I'm here. I mean, literally the last minute pinstriping was done in the trailer. I mean, they seem pretty impressed with what I accomplished. All of my money went into this project, so it would be great to win the prize money and just bragging rights too.